Today, people have easier access to information than ever before. Receiving training in a subject, earning a certificate, or learning a new method is no longer difficult. Yet despite this enormous increase in information, most of the fundamental challenges people experience are still the same. Communication problems, difficulty in making decisions, struggling to manage oneself, burnout, loss of direction, challenges in relationships, feeling stuck in leadership. And after a certain point, I began to realize something. The problem was not the lack of information. Most people already know what they should be doing, but they cannot understand why they struggle to sustain it, why they remain trapped in the same cycles, or why they cannot manage their own behaviors. My approach to coaching and human development was shaped precisely at this point. Because in my perspective, real growth does not begin when someone tells you what to do. It begins when a person starts to truly see themselves. Today, we live in an extremely fast-paced world. Everyone is trying to keep up. Everyone is trying to constantly perform. Everyone is trying to become more visible. But within all this speed, people often lose access to themselves. They fail to notice what they truly feel, why they are exhausted, why they repeat the same relationship patterns, why they cannot make decisions, or why they cannot fully use their potential. This is exactly why we built this structure, not simply to provide education, but to create a space where people can manage themselves, their relationships, their communication, their leadership, and their behaviors with greater awareness. Because we never viewed coaching as merely a technique. For us, coaching is the process of understanding human beings, understanding the way people think, manage emotions, communicate, make decisions, and build relationships. And for this reason, we did not want this field to evolve superficially. We wanted to build a system that does not only teach, but enables people to apply. A system that does not only provide information, but develops real capability. A system that does not simply produce certificates, but creates skills that can be used in real life. That is why our programs were never designed as short-term motivational trainings, structures promising instant expertise, memorized methods, pre-prepared question patterns, certificates earned without practice. But real life does not work that way. When you sit across from a real human being, prepared sentences are not enough. Because human beings are complex. And truly understanding people requires more than technique. It requires awareness, observation, communication skills, emotional capacity, and self-management. That is why we decided to build a different kind of system. Because motivation is temporary. We are interested in sustainable growth. This is why people here do not simply watch training sessions. They manage real coaching sessions. They practice. They receive supervision. They receive feedback. They work on real cases. They experience live processes. For us, the goal is not simply completing a program. It is developing capabilities that can truly be applied in real life. That is why we design our process not only around content, but around practice, evaluation, observation, and development tracking. Because behavioral change does not happen through information alone. It requires repetition. It requires real encounters. It requires practice. It requires awareness. And most of the time, the greatest transformation does not happen while trying to understand someone else. It happens when a person begins to truly see themselves. For us, this is the most important part of education. Not simply helping people gain a new profession, but helping them become more conscious human beings. Because a strong coach, a strong leader, a strong trainer is first someone who can build a relationship with themselves. That is why we do not only teach coaching here. We teach how to understand human behavior. We teach communication. We teach listening. We teach emotional awareness. We teach boundary management. We teach leadership. We teach thinking. But most importantly, we create a space where people can see themselves more clearly. As a natural result of this approach, our programs became structures that require time. Because real transformation does not happen quickly. We are not interested in temporary excitement. We are interested in long-term transformation. That is why our programs were designed not for people who simply want information, but for people who are genuinely ready to enter a process of growth. Today, people from many different sectors are here. Corporate leaders, HR professionals, consultants, trainers, people who want to create their own path, people seeking a new profession, people who want to strengthen their leadership capacity. But in reality, they all share one common point. They do not want to stay on the surface. They want to truly understand. They want to see themselves, people, relationships, communication, behavior, and leadership more deeply. My understanding of leadership is built on the same philosophy: high performance, low drama. I do not believe in creating crisis. I believe in building systems that can function without crisis. Because real leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It is about being the person who can create the greatest clarity. And the culture of this academy was built precisely on this idea. Growth through awareness, not pressure. Growth through understanding, not memorization. Growth through depth, not speed. And perhaps this is why people do not simply receive education here. They begin to see themselves from a different perspective. Some decisions change the direction of a person's life. Sometimes an education is not simply new information. It can become a new perspective, a new profession, a new style of leadership, a new way of living. But most importantly, it can help a person build a more conscious relationship with themselves. This is exactly why we built this structure.